Since the cancelling of FNAF Plus back in 2023, there has been a massive increase in the volume of FNAF Fangames, recreating the original games but in a brand new perspective, like Five Nights at Freddy's Wreck or the myriad of FNAF Plus Fangames. But none of these FNAF recreations have really hit the same height of popularity as Five Nights at Freddy's In Real Time, which serves as a reimagining of the original FNAF experience, with its unique characteristic being its animated camera screens, alongside a brand new original story and plenty of new gameplay features. It was the debut project of Real Time Studio and was originally announced on August 16th, 2023, and was intended to be a simple mod featuring new animations for the animatronics, but was soon expanded into its own separate game. Now, I've been keeping an eye on FNAF In Real Time since it was first announced, and I've played the game myself a couple of times. I haven't even attempted the 6-hour mode though, and I'm certainly not planning to anytime soon. But I've been wanting to make a video for a while now, and I just kept pushing it back in favour of other projects. But recently I saw a trailer for a brand new game from Real Time Studios called Pinata Puppy World, and I loved what I saw, which is what prompted me to go ahead and finally make this video. So without further ado, today I'll be taking on the wild ride of Five Nights at Freddy's In Real Time, where we'll be discussing the game itself as well as its rocky development. But first, I gotta ask you to subscribe, as it greatly helps me out and you can always undo it later if you think I'm a knob later down the line. No further delays though, let's start with the gameplay of FNAF In Real Time. In a general sense, the gameplay is practically identical to that of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, so my main focus here will be on the new minigames and cutscenes rather than the animatronic mechanics and whatnot. Now, jumping straight into things, the game starts out with a cutscene where we play through the mask of an animatronic on stage. Now, what impressed me is that there's actual voice acting here from what I assume to be the night guard. It's surprisingly rare to get any form of voice acting besides just the phone guy in FNAF Fangames. It serves to add an extra bit of personality into the game that most Five Nights at Freddy's fan games generally lack. Now here we meet a brand new character called Brother. He seems to be an amalgamation of different aspects of the core 4 animatronics, just with a paper plate face. We don't know very much about him other than that he comes from 1983 and has some sort of bond with the other animatronics, but he is important to the story, so you will hear more about him later in the video. The cutscene ends with Brother seemingly sending the animatronics after us, as Bonnie seems to be walking towards us before cutting to a section showing off a bunch of different newspapers. Now these serve to dish us up some of the game's lore, and I think it's a great way of twisting the classic newspaper openings of the original FNAF games, before throwing us into the main menu, which also looks amazing by the way. The animated animatronics on the screen are absolutely terrifying, and it's really cool looking. Now you may notice the minimap option on the main menu, which is important later but not yet, so I'll wait to mention it for now. So jumping straight into a new game, we can observe some of the new animations, with the office looking particularly clean here. And even if you have played Five Nights at Freddy's 1 before, I'd recommend playing FNAF In Real Time just so you can appreciate all of the neat little animations in the game. Now for this section, I'm not going to really focus on the gameplay of the nights, instead we're going to talk about the after night cutscenes. Speaking of which, the end of night cutscene for night 1 comes from the perspective of a night guard who is watching a recording of some footage taken during the night. He generally just freaks out over the animatronics moving during the night, which I guess is justifiable. Who wouldn't be terrified of these massive animatronics which are literally hunting you down? But this tape is a bit of a nothing burger until right at the end, when something appears in the right hallway camera which catches the security guard off guard.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
And abruptly ends the cutscene. And here is where I can talk about one of my favourite mechanics from this game. When clicking on the minimap, we find ourselves in an 8-bit version of the pizzeria. Wandering around here, we have to use the money earned from each night to buy and unlock the next night, as well as other functions within the minimap. Now each night has its own special name and art shown here, which we'll get to appreciate when we get to those nights. For night 2 though, it's this cool little art of Bonnie, and it's titled The Calm Before the Storm. And for some reason though, night 2 doesn't have an end of night cutscene, so we'll just skip back to the minimap and unlock night 3, which is titled Behind the Curtain, as this cool little render of Foxy as the title card. Now night 3 is pretty bog standard, as the same as night 3 from FNAF 1, which I guess makes sense. FNAF In Real Time is just a recreation of FNAF 1 at the end of the day, but the real important stuff here comes to the end of night minigames, so let's just skip straight to that. Now this cutscene shows a still frame, which can assume to be either at the front or the back of the restaurant, we don't really know, but we hear a one-sided conversation, presumably from the phone guy. They explain that the animatronics don't necessarily have AI, and instead something more sinister is going on. They discreetly tell us that the animatronics are haunted by the victims of the second missing children's incident. We're also learning that they struggle to tell the difference between people in blue and purple suit, with blue being the security guard in this game and purple obviously being William Afton himself, better known as the man behind the slaughter. And the cutscene ends with the revelation that the robots are just kids. Moving into the minimap again though, we have to find the prize corner. Now many of you may be thinking, Striker, FNAF 1 doesn't have a prize corner. And you'd be right, if Help Wanted didn't exist, as the map for this game is based off the FNAF 1 map in Help Wanted. Now if we pay for the prize corner, we unlock not only Night 4, but also the Fazbear Employment Console, which allows us to easily replay past nights as well as customise our avatar in the minimap area. And from here we can access Night 4, which is titled Switch Up and has some neat art of the core 4 animatronics. Jumping into the night, it's pretty much the same as FNAF 1, which is to be expected, but jumping to the end of the night, instead of going into a cutscene, we have a FNAF 2 style minigame. Here we play as Brother, with our objective being to collect papers, and after collecting all of them we realise that the doors are open, which is where the minigame ends. Don't ask me what's going on yet, I still don't have the full picture as of writing this script. Now after completing this end of night minigame, we've returned to the minimap. Well, I've said mini way too many times in this video already. And we can access Night 5 from the show stage, which plays identically to Five Nights at Freddy's 1, which I don't think I really need to specify. But now, as soon as the night finishes, we're tossed straight into the minimap again, and we have to head up to the entrance where we encounter the purple guy hiding in the shadows, which then ends the minigame and starts the ending cutscene.
This audio recording is being left to Donovan Sheehan. If found, return it to its place of origin. This is not meant for you. And now, Donovan, I'm speaking to you. I don't know why I couldn't contact you tonight. I don't know what happened. So I suppose someone didn't want us talking after all. You are not the first person to pass under my watch, and you likely won't be the last. Hopefully, you will find this message, if your spirit roams the halls like they do. But who knows how long they have left. Just know that I did everything in my power, everything, to keep you going. I should have told you to leave sooner, but that doesn't matter now. There's nothing more that can be done for what they have become, and now, no one can do anything else for you.
Now, if you couldn't tell already, we are playing as a brand new character, with our only objective being to access the FEC, and well, complete the challenge nights, of which there are 4 of them. Challenge 1 is called Bullies, with a medium difficulty and involves both Bonnie and Chica. It's not too difficult and you should be able to beat it pretty easily if you've beaten the rest of the game up to this point. Challenge 2 is called Don't Look at Me and uses Freddy and Foxy only. It's the same difficulty as the first and the same rules apply. Try enough and you'll beat it eventually. Now, after beating both challenges 1 and 2, you'll actually unlock Night 6, which is pretty similar to the rest of the main nights and plays exactly as the normal FNAF 1, except there are a few new Easter eggs on this night. Occasionally, Brother, Sparky the dog, and a brand new character called Donovan Duck can appear as Easter egg characters in different areas of the pizzeria. And on even rarer occasions where you can get jump scares from Sparky the dog, or Donovan Duck during the power outage. Yeah, that's a nice thumbnail photo, Donovan. And after completing Night 6, you'll be thrown into this weird duck minigame, and you're just wandering around a forest for a little bit until you enter this random pond which turns red for whatever reason, thus ending the minigame. This one I don't have much of an explanation for, so we're just going to move straight on, where it's time to complete the remainder of the challenges. Challenge 3 is called Nightmare and has all of the animatronics on a hard difficulty. Then Challenge 4 is called Power Surge and is around the same difficulty level, except your power should drain much quicker. Lastly, after completing Night 6, you'll unlock Challenge 5, which is 420 mode in this game, which is definitively the hardest challenge in this game and the very last obstacle you need to unlock the final night. And the final 3 challenges are really difficult, but if you keep trying, then you'll eventually do it when you start to get a hang of the mechanics. But after completing each of the other nights and all of the challenges, you'll unlock Night 7, simply titled Final Cutscene, which I'll let play for you now.
I was broken my whole life, but now I can see mine's coming to an end. I thought this could be some sort of purpose, a sort of difference against him. But things change, and so do people. They warp, they turn, they twist, they're broken into the shape of a monster. with jagged edges, bruises and scars, and infinite memories of a dream that couldn't happen. The existence of your death being a myth, a conspiracy, just a theory. I'm not a daughter. I'm a brother to many. A brother to most. The stage is empty. Their seats are cleared. Their servers are broken, forever tucked behind the curtain. Their building is rotten. Their parts are deteriorating. And after one last night, the game is over. No more songs, no more sleep, forever tucked away by the darkness. There's no one left to save them. There's no one left to save them.
There's one last thing we can pick out from the gameplay though, and that's the 6-hour mode. In simple terms, it's a challenge mode that, as its name suggests, lasts 6 whole hours. Each hour of the night is an hour in real time, and is one of the major selling points of FNAF in Real Time, which I guess can be implied by the name. Now, since I started writing this script, I tried playing it once myself and only made it to 2 AM before giving up. In terms of difficulty, it's pretty mid-tier in my opinion, which is to be expected, as if you're constantly getting attacked for 6 hours, literally anyone would crash out. But that's everything for the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's in Real Time. I think it's about time we discuss the development and the controversies of the game. Now, there's a lot to talk about with the development of FNAF in Real Time, so I'm not going to get into every little detail, instead we'll just cover all of the important stuff. So let's get straight into it. The game was first revealed on August 16th, 2023, when Torin, I think that's how you say his name, created a brand new Game Jolt account to announce the creation of Real Time Studios, and their upcoming project FNAF in Real Time. Then the next day, the thumbnail for FNAF in Real Time was created and is still the one that gets used today. Following this, we had a period of behind the scenes images released alongside a countdown, which culminated in the reveal that some sort of announcement was coming on the 10th of October. Now, there was very minimal updates from Real Time Studios between August to October, however we did get a few teasers in the forms of scene names and our first look at the newly created office for the game. But October 10th soon arrived and brought with it the first trailer for the new game. It showed some basic details about the gameplay, with the major reveal here being that FNAF in Real Time was going to be a part of the second FNAF Fangame Direct. Now, for those unaware, the Fangame Direct is something similar to Under Event except for Five Nights at Freddy's. There's so far been 2 events, but due to some controversy, the third is being delayed. I'm unsure exactly what happened, but maybe I'll look into it for a video because I do love the idea of a Fangame Direct, and I do want to follow it more closely in the near future. But back to FNAF in Real Time. A lot of the focus for this month was dedicated to the main animator behind the first trailer, as it came to light that they had become homeless following their work on the actual trailer, and the Real Time team hosted a charity stream to support the animator, and during this stream we actually saw Brother for the very first time. I think it's really heartwarming that the community and the team would come together for something like this. It's really not something you see happen very often. Moving on to December 7th, when we got a brand new trailer which was supposed to reveal the winning submissions from a recent competition, but it took a surprising turn midway through and announced a whole bunch of things. Firstly, we got details for the FNAF movie game, which is another Real Time Studios project that hasn't released yet, but I'm keeping an eye on it and probably will make a video when it does eventually release. Then we got the reveal of the Monitor series, which was an 8-part animated series which gave us a couple of story reveals and new looks into the story of FNAF in Real Time. Lastly, an interactive demo was announced to be coming later in 2024. From there we didn't get too much important stuff besides the Monitor series releasing in January and then a couple of other teasers following that up, but the next big thing wouldn't happen until March 1st when the gameplay trailer first released, which announced that the full game would be intended to release on April 27th, 2024. Then the next day was Dorko's charity stream supporting the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, and if one of the donation goals was reached, then Dorko would play Night 1 of FNAF in Real Time. And obviously, this goal was reached, and for the very first time ever, we saw an uncut, raw version of FNAF in Real Time's gameplay. Now, yet again, we didn't get too much big news besides a couple of teaser images until April 9th, where it was announced that the game would officially be being delayed. And instead of giving us a brand new release date, it was just updated to be coming soon, and from there we didn't hear very much past that. And for the next few months, we continued to just get little teasers every now and again, alongside Real Time Studios expanding and bringing in some new developers during May. May. Then in July, we got hit with the news that FNAF In Real Time was temporarily cancelled. Tarin, the original creator of FNAF In Real Time, was stepping away from the project. He'd still be the head honcho of Real Time Studios, but due to some people in the FNAF community sending gore to him, he was rightfully a little disturbed and wanted away from the project in general. Now the game was delayed further because of this, so what happened from here? Well, it was announced that FNAF In Real Time and Real Time Studio would be split into two separate entities. FNAF In Real Time was still being developed just without the further involvement of Tarin. As much as he loves the project, he said he needed time to process and move on, which is a pretty good approach, and I think that the new original game mentioned in the description became Pinata Puppy World later on. But the development of FNAF In Real Time continued just without its lead man, which I imagine did cause quite a few delays. Now, not much more news came out after this, and the only big thing really was on the 21st of December where we got the brand new trailer, which announced that the full game would release just 2 days later on the 23rd of December. And it did. The response was overwhelmingly positive, which was to be expected. There was an overwhelmingly talented team behind the project and a hell of a lot of passion poured in too. It's certainly one of my favourite fan games that I've ever played, even what's supposed to be a remake of FNAF 1. It's different enough to have its own identity and I love it for that, and I think the question going into this video can be answered as yes, FNAF In Real Time was really good. But that brings this video to a close. I've missed covering proper FNAF fan games, it's been quite a while since the last one, but if you enjoyed this video then make sure to like and subscribe. It greatly supports me and the channel, plus it can always be undone if you think I'm a knob later down the line. I do have plans for my next couple of videos and I think I'm going to try and do the Lethal Company video next, but I may end up doing something smaller in the meantime so I can take more time to make that video as good as possible. Also, if you want to interact with me for whatever reason, then you can join the Discord, it's linked in the description, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.